What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So I want to do something a little bit different because I want to address something peacefully, and I want to address it because I feel like when people read comments, a lot of times they take it as maybe it's a debate, it's an argument, or you're saying things in a way maybe they just finished having a conversation about the same thing. And so they feel like maybe what you're saying is in a malicious way. Now, I don't really have to care. I can just say what I have to say, and then whatever people think, this is what they think. But there's times when I will make a video addressing something. Now, I want to read something to you. I did a video, okay, and basically it's titled Deontay Wilder fans are still talking about Glovegate. Okay, and I also talk about Holyfield versus, Kevin McBride, a little bit in that video. Now, let me just say this. For people who are very touchy-feely, you say something and it doesn't favor the person that they like, well, it is what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat what I have to say. And basically, the video, it was, again, I was addressing something that was a question that I was asked. Now, I want to read a comment. And this is no malicious attack on this sister. This is no anger, no type of emotion. Like, why would I? Even when I'm speaking and you see me talking and I'm giving you guys news, and I'm giving you the news in a way where, hey, I have your attention. We're talking about it. I never take any of this personal. Okay? When you direct something personally at me, then that can be different. But most of the time, I just nix these people and get rid of them because they defeat the purpose of what this channel is about. Now, this comment comes from Goddess Allure Ra. And I just want to address it because I want to further my point and go in a different direction. Actually, continue the direction that I was going in the first place. But basically, I make points to people because a lot of times people see things and they go through this emotional thing. They're thinking with their feelings. They're not looking at things from a rational standpoint of, I can understand why other people would feel this way. It's more like, no, it's what I say and that's it. Now, Goddess Allura, her comment was contrary to widespread belief, brother. I'll be talking about Tyson Fury's doggy gloves until our good brother Deontay Wilder receives justice. Kudos to Wilder for having the courage to go against the grain and come out and stand on his square, telling the world that Fury won the WBC title by nefarious means. I agree with Chisora. Wilder should ask for $60 million in that arbitration. Peace. Peace to you. Now, I'm going to read my comment, and then I'm going to jump into this, okay? So, my comment was, I'm all for anyone standing up for themselves, aside from all of the rumors and actual lies that a whole lot of these channels are telling. None of this is productive for his career. If he gets money out of the arbitration, good for him. We're talking about him making moves in the ring, calling names that he claimed he wants to fight, but nothing happens. If he plans to get back in the ring, he's only damaging his own progress. And Chisora can say what he wants. Nobody's giving Wilder $60 million. I don't think Wilder is really ready to get back in the ring. And if not, there's no reason to call other fighters names unless you are actually ready to send term sheets and contracts. If you notice, anytime he has mentioned a name and then nothing happens without any without anything new coming up as far as details of any type of news, all of these YouTube channels start bringing up Glovegate and arbitration. And the point is, none of that is helping his career to move forward. Peace. Now, basically, here's the thing. All right, and people did this. You see, they keep solidifying this whole point of them feeling the way we say they feel. Now, she's talking about Deontay standing up, going against the grain, standing up for himself. And yeah, we know black people have been discriminated against and still do. In boxing, in music, in movies, in life, period. Okay, in common 9-to-5 jobs. We know this. Okay. I dealt with some soggy son of a bitch that basically said here because I was getting on Fury about him showing no interest in the biggest fight in boxing, and he's sitting here acting nonchalant about it. And some idiot, racist piece of shit made a comment and said, "Oh, I would expect that from an American to take everything Fury says so serious." So nationality comes up because we're holding grown as adults accountable for what comes out of their mouth. For the record, I have people in my family that are Jamaican, that are Haitian, that are British, that are Latinos. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for you to sit up and talk, you don't know nothing about me or my family, and it's none of your goddamn business. But you see, I can't sit at a table divided and act like everything's okay. So I don't walk around here, playing black activists just because people create narratives that I don't see. I have to understand what's going on and see. And basically, for everything that's been said, when we say, what is the proof that these guys keep saying they have and they never show it, right? We're not even going to dig back into that. But all of these things stemming from the genesis of it to where right now, Deontay Wilder's career has yet to go forward. His fans are not going forward. They're stuck on this whole Glovegate and arbitration situation. Now, here's my thing. I will always tell a person, hey, if you feel like you're standing for something, you want to make a change in something, you're standing for yourself, because I will always stand up for myself. So I would never tell anyone to not. My thing is this, okay? If you're going to say, I've moved on from Coward Fury, did he or did he not say that? It's not like I'm sitting here making it up. Okay, how have you moved on when every time you talk, all you talk about is Fury? And the craziest thing, and the latest video he did, he's not even talking about the second fight. He's not even talking about the ass whooping. He's talking about the first fight and how he was cheated. Again, everybody wants to get all my brother. Okay, cool. You don't ask. Think about this, okay? You don't ask Deontay Wilder or whoever runs his channels. You don't leave comments and say, look, brother, you talking about black unity. You speaking up for the black people. You're talking about us fighting against racism and all that. But why is it that JD's wasn't fired and he's the one that sat in the dressing room? So the white man that he approves is okay because he approved him. Oh, he said, oh, he got a good tongue lashing in the back and all. Okay, but you fired the black man that saved your life, saved your career, or whatever it is people want to say he did. But he basically saw you getting the hell beat out of you. You wouldn't think, well, Deontay, maybe because of the way you were getting beat. And if you truly feel that this man was cheating, then you should understand that, you talking about going out on your shield. Imagine this, right? You fire somebody for throwing in the towel. You have to have a reason. When you address the public, what is it? Well, I don't have to address them directly, but here's what I'm going to do. I believe he has something to do with me being cheated. Well, he spiked your water and threw the towel in. He knew the exact round it was going to happen. He understood you guys are mixing up the first situations from the first fight. The floppy gloves had nothing to do with the second fight. Everything, if you guys are honest with yourself, you tell me that during that fight, you guys were sitting there noticing a floppy glove. You tell me during that fight, you guys were thinking about anything, spiked water, the first or the second fight, spiked water, an egg weight in the glove. Anything. You're lying. Not one person was thinking that. All of a sudden, Dante's Boxing Nation, 7-8 Sports, Blue Blood, Fanon, all these different fanboy channels decide, now we got to come up with a narrative. Dante said he had 3 months ahead of time, information and things that he noticed about Tyson Fury. Wilder, out his own mouth, said we always knew he was a cheat. And I addressed that in the last video. How you sit here and know this man's a cheat, but you do no investigating. We saw behind the scenes Tyson Fury making sure that Klitschko glove, that everything was checked, and him turning down water from Team Wilder. And okay, this is what you do. We've seen Floyd Mayweather, him and Senior, and Leonard Ellerby. We've seen where they were, nah, we're not using those gloves. And you want to know what's crazy? A whole lot of the same people would say, "Oh, Floyd's a bitch because he worried about the gloves." So, he was a bitch, or was he smart? Now, you had JD's sit there in that dressing room. I'm tired of talking about this, right? Nobody questions anything that Deontay Wilder says or do. And if you're going to say, well, white people do it all the time, or these people do it all the time, but then here's my thing, okay? I wouldn't need anybody to speak for me. And I'm in that ring knowing something is not right about this guy's gloves. Something's not right. He's not trying to sue the referee. He's not trying to sue the Nevada Athletic State Commission. He's not even trying to sue Tyson Fury. We were told that the whole thing was trying to force a third fight. Isn't that what all of the fanboy channels are saying? Come to find out, nope, that wasn't the case. Come to find out, no, he's trying to get money. And what we got out of that was that the settlement is going to come down to him and Fury. They're going to have an agreement that they'll never fight each other. So if Deontay Wilder was to go out and become undisputed and Fury was #1, he doesn't get his shot. It's as simple as that. Fury turns around and says, I might fight Deontay Wilder again. So I'm making videos because when you play connected dots, a lot of things just don't add up. And I felt like, you're not showing any interest in Undisputed. So what's the deal going to be? You said you'll never fight in the UK, but the UK was one of the places that came up with an offer. You said that you'd never fight Cheetah, complain or whine or Deontay Wilder again for insulting you and the Gypsies, and then you turn around and say you might fight him again. And basically you talked about fighting everybody other than Anthony Joshua. And like I said, has some racist ass dummy who felt like he needed to come out of his face and say something about nationality just based on the simple fact that I'm holding grown ass people. Yes, I'll hold everybody accountable for what they say and do, including myself. So this was nonsense. Now, if you are going to sit here, anybody, and make excuses for someone, okay, excuses will cause you to hold yourself back. I'm not focused on what happened in the past, okay? I'm focused on the here and now. So even for Deontay, when you say, I've moved on, and then you keep bringing up the same stuff, then you haven't moved on. When you say, he never hurt me in a fight, but then you're suing for damages, you're lying. I'm as tough as nails, okay? If I get punched so hard I get a dent put in my head, I think that would hurt. Okay, at the same time, oh, he never hurt him. He's a saw. He's got pillows for fists. But yet, you're suing for damages. Well, that's because he cheated. But you're not suing him for attempted murder, which is exactly what you should be suing him for. Because if a 274-pound man puts metal in his glove, okay, and punch you upside your head, your ribs, your jaw, your arms, your shoulders, whatever he can hit, he's trying to damage you further than what he would do with his knuckles underneath some padded gloves. If he removed the padding from all these claims, do you understand that the only reason that Deontay Wilder has not sued for attempted murder is because he has no proof that that's what happened? And it didn't even come from him. It came from fanboy channels, and he rode that wave. It took him forever to finally speak, and when he did, all he did was repeat what we've heard already. Now, for everybody who wants to hold on to this, you do what you feel like you need to. I don't know. People have that when he win, we win. No, I'm my own man. Okay, and like I've said in several videos, because you always come across someone who says things as if you don't understand what's going on, or they say things in a way where they're speaking like they have some experience that you don't have or something. I've put my foot down and stood up for my black brothers and sisters since I've been a kid. Okay? And I can tell you right now, when it's for a cause, I go in all the way. But as far as me sitting up here just making excuses or making claims that there's no proof to, I put myself in a situation, in both situations. And I analyze and say, now, if I was Tyson Fury, okay, forget if I was Tyson Fury, if it was me, okay, against Wilder, and Wilder made those same claims, the only difference would be the race issue wouldn't come up. First of all, I'm gonna sue that ass for defamation of character. And I'm going to make you prove. And let me tell you something. I would have got those same gloves and said, nah, the hell with that. Here goes these gloves. You show me where I pulled padding out. And on top of that, how the hell, do you know an egg weight on the bone of your hand? Because they'd have to be wrapped into the glove. Otherwise, the egg weight wouldn't stay in place, right? He could break his hand doing that. It's not going to end with me just trying to be nice, trying to play nice or whatever. It would have been different, okay? And I would have made him prove every claim that he set here and that him and his fanboys put out to the public. I would make him have to prove it. And the fact that he's accusing me of doing something that I didn't do, oh no, you're going to have to prove that. And then not only would I fight him again, I'm going to punish him. Why? You sit up here and made up all these damn lies. Now, I'm speaking on my behalf if I was in there. Tyson Fury didn't do what I just said. He addressed saying, yeah, I had something in my gloves. I had two big destructive fists in my gloves or something to that point. On the other hand, if I'm fighting Tyson Fury and I feel I don't need no fanboy channels to tell me what happened, what they think, how all of a sudden they just know what happened and I don't, and I'm the one in the damn ring. Nobody in my corner. The excuse was, oh, his corner's not experienced in these areas. Oh, they're in the ring with fighters, training fighters and all that, and they're not experienced. But I guess Blue Blood, 7-8 Sports, and Dante's Boxing Nation, and the Young Pharaoh, I guess all of them are. They're experienced enough to see it. All these other fans experienced enough to see it, but everybody in the ring, except for everybody in the ring. Nobody ringside saw anything. When we saw that little white substance fall from JD's hand when he got out the ring, nobody made a big deal out of that, right? So my whole thing is, for those who are trying to make this a race war, what are you doing? What are you trying to accomplish? If Wilder gets money out of this situation, hey, good for him. Listen, I'm not concerned with all of that. You know, if you feel like you was done wrong, my thing is it wouldn't take someone to have to tell you that. But listen, I was in a situation, okay, I'm going to give you two stories. I was in a situation where I worked two jobs. The one job that I was at the longest was the one I wanted to leave. I went from day shift to evening shift, so the pay raise went up. But I was so uninterested in that job that I just would work, get my paycheck, and go. I wasn't really even so much into what was going on. The other job that I was going to leave it for, I had a feeling like something just, I don't know, I just didn't jump to just completely leave that job for that one. Turns out that job got bought out, and when they bought them out, they came in with a bunch of new people. And for those that they kept, I was one that they kept, but they decreased our salaries by far. But this place was like a few minutes from my house. I could literally walk to work. The other place was about 40 minutes. So what ends up happening was, I left there because the money just wasn't worth it, you know. But then what happens is, so I'm working at the job that's farther from me, okay? But what ended up happening was there was someone who worked in personnel that realized I wasn't getting my pay increase, okay, for being able to go into a different shift. And I had been on that shift for several years already. So they owed me a lot of money. A lot of money. And I was dealing with a really racist person at this job. One where she really just had a mouth, and what she didn't like about me is because I'm the kind of person, how you approach me is how I'm going to respond to you. So I don't respect anyone who doesn't respect me. And pretty much I told her about herself. She didn't like it. And like the administrator told her, well, what are you asking to happen? What do you think is going to happen? I mean, you can't just talk to people any kind of way. So if you feel like he was wrong, how could you talk to? And that's the thing is, I speak up for myself. I'm not one of those little passive people sit there with my head down and just take what they say and then go outside behind closed doors and talk about how they're wrong. No, I'll let you know right then and there that what you're doing makes no sense or whatever. Whatever you're saying, if I don't like it, I'm going to let you know about it. Well, when they realized that I could have sued them and I had paperwork, had proof, what they did was they increased my salary by far. Now, one day we go to the bank, me and this coworker who basically was a scumbag, who I found out in the end, not just because of what I'm about to say, but we go to the bank. Me and him worked the same holiday. He said that holiday wasn't on that pay. So he asked me, did I get it? I said, I didn't even check yet. So I'm at the gas station. I'm pumping my gas in the car. And he basically looks at my check stub and realized that I'm making several dollars more an hour than he is. Like, how the hell? Wait a minute. And I came here before him. See, I never went and told anybody about what was going on. That was between me, personnel, and overall administration. And so they agreed to that. And I didn't go around, oh, yeah, so this happened. No. Now, I didn't, but I got people coming to me saying, yo, how you making X amount of an hour, man? We don't even make that. We was here before you. And I'm like, first of all, so I started chopping them up. Hey, oh, no, I was just saying, mind your business. So I go to him and say what I got to say to him for even putting my business out there for. When the hell did I didn't give you permission to look at my damn check stub. And so I chopped them up and, all right, the bottom line is this. Somebody spotted something that I didn't pay attention to. But I took action, and I didn't make a bunch of words about it, and I didn't sit up here and talk it. No, I did it. And when it was time for me to leave that particular job, I did just that as well. How do you, as a grown adult, feel comfortable that everyone else has to tell you something happened that you didn't see? You watch the tape back and know, oh, now I see it. Only diehard fans are the ones saying that they saw it. Saw what? The floppy glove? Yeah, I admit his hand looked really floppy. I used to watch Ali and his glove looked floppy. Seen several fights where the gloves look floppy. It's not the first time, but that's how people treat it. Just like it's not the first time people try to get this false narrative that it's because of Deontay's Boxing Nation and Blue Blood and all that fighters are now checking gloves. Wait a minute. This is something that's always been going on. This is something I'm talking about decades ago. This is nothing new. Ray Leonard used to do the same shit. They chose the gloves, and they can chew the gloves for the opponent as well. Stop with the lies. Dante's Boxing Nation didn't prove nothing. 7-8 Sports, Fanon, none of them. Blue Blood, they didn't change nothing. Okay? You know how many years ago that was when we saw Floyd sitting there? Nah, they're not wearing these gloves. Hell no. We're not wearing them, and y'all not wearing them either. Okay? So there's nothing new. But you see, you have so many casuals who jump in, or people that jump in with their feelings, that they basically just get caught up into this whole skin color and whole everything is a race war type thing. And it's like you're not thinking from the outside looking in, observing. You're standing here from the outside looking in, throwing your emotions, following what someone is telling you. At the end of a fight that you feel you was cheated and you do not stand up there and salute your opponent, you would make those things known in the fight. Okay? We know for a fact, Joey DeWaco called Serafine and told her, hey, something to the effect of Jarrell Miller gonna have an easy night, man. I just concussed Anthony Joshua. We heard her say that. Joey DeWaco didn't deny it. Even Deontay Wilder diehard fans were saying something was wrong with AJ at that fight. Like he wasn't himself. Even before the bell rung, you could tell something was wrong with AJ. They just didn't make an excuse for why he lost like they did with Wilder. They didn't make any excuses. Okay? What they said was he should have rescheduled the fight. If you know that something was wrong, you should have, well, no different from Wilder. Wilder said going to the ring, he had no legs. Well, why didn't he say, nah, we got to call it off, man. My legs are gone. You can't say, oh, but that's different. No, it's not different. And it's not different. Neither one of them was 100%. AJ never made excuses. It wouldn't allow anybody to make excuses for him and made his voice heard because he saw the comments, he saw the videos and people saying something was wrong and he just wanted to dismiss it. Get rid of all that. We're going to do this again. Okay? Rematch. Simple. He came back and did what he had to do. Now, here's my thing, right? It was easy for Deontay Wilder to speak about what AJ should have did in the rematch and what he would have did. But when he actually went through it, what did he actually do? To this very day, what has he done to correct that wrong? Well, for people that say, well, arbitration, look at what arbitration is for. Hell no, he didn't correct that wrong. He's not suing this man. He's not taking him to court. No, you attempted, this was attempted murder. You had an egg weight in your glove. You did this and that. Why? Because he can't prove any of it. I'm going to use the same reference that I've been using for years, okay, to boxing. I live in an area where people believe in Bigfoot. And it's funny how people on my street have seen Bigfoot, but I've been here since 2004 and I've never seen a damn Bigfoot. I've seen the man in the costume. Now, for people to say, how come? How do you know it wasn't a real Bigfoot? Well, first of all, I don't believe in monsters. I'm a monster. Okay, how about that? I'm a monster. I really can do damage to the human body. This person dressed in a suit was pretty tall and tried to be at a distance where I believe probably had like some type of mic made in the suit where, because when he was breathing, what I noticed, it was a man in a suit. And I told him, I said, man, you better watch yourself trying to scare people out here. We carry guns. You're going to wind up getting yourself killed trying to start a Bigfoot thing out here. I said, the suit looks impressive, but, you need to be careful. I was probably 6 feet away from him. You understand what I'm saying? And he, I'm not stupid. I'm looking at the guy, and it's like, yeah, it's a big dude in a suit, okay? And pretty much he went his way. Now, all this rotten smell of eggs, and no, I didn't smell any of that. All these things that they claim you smell when you see a Bigfoot or whatever. I didn't see anything different about his footsteps, the way he walked, the long strides. No. I didn't see any of that. I just saw a man in a suit trying to scare people. And basically, I noticed where I was parked at that point, just finished cooking out in the park, and I was just, dumping my trash. And the way he was standing, he know, yeah, somebody would be there. And it was all basically just waiting for somebody to pull up. And the time of day was like, about to get turn nighttime. The park would be closed, and I was the only person that pulled up there at that point. And pretty much this was, when you see something that big, someone, especially in the woods, people, they're going to get scared and, oh, shit, what is that? And they're going to run. And Aries don't run from nobody or no thing. So I just said, okay, whatever. And that's the thing. I didn't back up. I walked towards him. And where the curb ended, and then you got the hill. So we're like 6 feet, a good 6 feet apart. 6 feet is nothing. And I'm standing there and I'm talking to him, looking right at him. It's a man in a goddamn costume. And he's trying to stand where I can't really notice the faults to be able to point out it's not an actual creature, it's a man in a costume. But he doesn't expect me to walk towards him. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I could run around here and argue, I've seen a Bigfoot too, and want to be a part of the bandwagon. What proof do I have that it's a Bigfoot? Now, somebody can say, what proof do you have that it's not? Well, Bigfoots can't live forever, can they? We can't even find a dead one. Not a baby one. We don't catch him bathing. We don't catch him doing anything. And well, maybe this one bathed because he didn't smell, you know. But all of this whole thing of people wanting to be a part of something, it's been years. After Bruce Lee died, we've had, I mean, people are so delusional. We have talks about people spotting Bruce Lee. I remember the one story about this guy talking about he saw a guy practicing Kung Fu. And then when the guy realized that he was looking at him, he turned and he ran. And he said he turned around and tell his wife, did you see that? When he turned around, the guy was gone. So Bruce Lee was not really dead and he has magical powers all of a sudden. Tupac dies. All of a sudden, stories later, years later, is Tupac really dead? I mean, it's like, people, seriously, here's a situation where people can't just say, you know what, he lost the fight or whatever happened, let's go forward. Now, all this arbitration and all that, okay, fine. But you haven't moved on, even though you said you've moved on. I've moved on from Cheetah Fury, from Coward Fury. I've moved on. You haven't moved on, and neither have your fans. This is not helping your career. This is not helping, anything. It's no progression. Now, my thing is, okay, if you listen to what I was saying, it's because I was asked by someone, how come I never talk about Tyson, Deontay Wilder being matched up with Joseph Parker, like possible for, how can I, like I said, how can I do that when he's not even talking about what's next for him in his career? So when we talk about anything, based on what he's been saying, it's just been the same things over and over. Him talking about him being cheated against Fury. And if you notice, the only person that interviewed him, that asked him the questions that the public wanted to know, aside from his fans, okay, they all just speak and let him say whatever. It's like, here's a platform for you to just talk, invent some more, and say a whole lot of nothing, because that's all we've been getting. So for those who want to keep talking about the floppy glove, here's the thing. If we're talking about justice, okay, if you're talking about real justice, then he should be suing this man again for attempted murder. Nobody's going to give, like you said, Derek Chisora said he should ask for $60 million. Nobody's going to give Deontay Wilder $60 million goddamn dollars. Okay, first off, listen, he's asking for $60 million. Do you realize that $60 million he's talking about is step aside money? He wasn't talking about suing. He was talking about the money that he's asking for him to step aside so he could fight AJ. Who the hell, listen, Wilder doesn't even make, Wilder's probably over his whole career, he's probably never even combined to make $60 million. Who's going to give Wilder $60 million? Where's that money going to come from? Just for him to step aside, not fight? Or if they're going to give him $60 million to not fight, what would they pay him to actually fight someone? So Derek Chisora can say what he wants to say. Nobody's giving this man $60 million. If you break down everything that he said and what his fans were saying, it's not much to talk about, because every excuse leads back to the same thing. He only lost because Fury cheated. We have proof. Show us. I have a cup right here. I have a glass. Okay? I can tell you that something's in this glass that's not in here. Can you prove me wrong? Are you here to taste it? Can you? No, you can't, right? But if I sat here and said, this is grape juice, you could say, no, grape juice is purple. It's a darker color. Well, they do have grape juice that's not dark, right? In case you don't know that, they do. But what's actually in this glass? So either you believe me or you don't. But I do have more of what's in this cup in my refrigerator. So if you were here, I could actually prove to you what's in this cup, and you know, yeah, that's what it is. Simple analogy. If you have proof of anything, which is why I said, if he had an egg weight in his glove, how the hell could a doctor tell you what was in his glove? How would you know that something was in his glove? And the first thing he should have been doing was trying to get a hold of those gloves that he used. And it's not impossible to do. So where are the gloves? And when you say that JD's as unexperienced. And well, even if that would be the case, you also, what you're saying without realizing is that Deontay Wilder has no common sense. Because there's no way. There is no way that after all those things were said by all these fan channels and then he just repeated it, okay, that he can actually say he felt that way. But he just didn't want to actually, he just didn't want to actually come out and say it for whatever reason. According to Tay Jones, it was because we're going to wait till after the third fight and then get this dirty motherfucker about the sport. Remember Tay Jones? Remember all those things he said? None of it came into fruition? Or have y'all forgotten that? But when he was speaking, you guys were so, yeah, see, Tay Jones said this and Tay Jones said that. Okay, and so where has Wilder's career, how is this helping his career? Because even to go through arbitration, right? Well, if he was never hurt like he claimed, right? If he was never hurt like he claimed, then all he would have to do, all right? All he would have to do is simply keep training, keep sharp, keep his body in shape, and go forward. The fact that he's not doing that, it tells me, plain and simple, he's not ready to jump back in that ring. I don't think he should jump back in that ring just to try to appease people, to try to make his fans happy. Because if you do that and you're not ready, you're going to get beat. And you're going to wind up getting beat by someone that you have no business losing to. So for him to actually say he wants this guy, but then nothing happens. See, I've never liked the fact that a guy calls someone's name and then don't fight them. What was the purpose of that? So when he's accused of building his profile up by using Anthony Joshua's name but never had any plans to fight him, people get offended and say, no, well, how could you say that? How could be? Well, listen. He called Anthony Joshua's name a million times, but then when it was time to fight, he would always say, it's not going to happen. Then he'd turn around and say, it's not a matter of if, but when. Remember that? You got to have patience. Remember all of that? And then nothing happens. And then he actually tells, in a tweet, he tells Tyson Fury, I could have fought AJ. I turned down, I could have made more money fighting AJ, but I chose to fight you. And, 7-8 Sports turns around and say that what he meant by that was saying, if I knew you wasn't going to be a man of your word, I'd have just fought AJ. No. You have to be motivated to take a fight. You have to be motivated to take a fight. So if that's the case, you're playing eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No, which one do you want to fight? Not to mention, I hear a lot of Deontay Wilder fans talk about other fighters and say, oh man, this guy fought a guy that was coming off of a loss. Okay, well, Fury was coming off of the couch after 2-3 years or whatever it was, came back and fought 2 meatballs. AJ was active and still doing his thing, collecting belts. So why didn't you fight him and you chose to fight a guy who had no belt versus fighting the champion? And his excuse was, man, they fake, man. They not what y'all think. As long as this man has been talking and saying things, he's never pinpointed what the lies were. Why they're full of shit. He's never pinpointed. He always just say things. So here's my thing, okay? For Deontay Wilder to go forward, he needs to get in the ring and fight, but he has to be comfortable and confident. Not by coming back fighting no goddamn Carlos Negron or some guy who basically is just a meatball. Bottom line, not coming back fighting some C fighter. You call yourself a king, right? You said you were never hurt. You said that Dillian White style is easy to beat. Well, go fight Dillian White. I'm pretty sure Dillian White will be down for that. Going forward, you can't hold on to the past. It's like breaking up with somebody. You go out and get a new girlfriend, but then you're still going back to see the old girlfriend. You're still calling her. You're still checking in with her, right? So then you're not over her. You can tell the new girlfriend, no, baby, it's all about you. My love is for you, girl. But she don't know that you keep going back to the old girlfriend. But so deep down inside, you're not over her yet. That's what the whole video was about and addressing what this guy has said. It's going forward. Fact of the matter is, Deontay Wilder has yet to do that. So all the arbitration, trying to get money and sitting back waiting, looking all frail, losing all this weight, and not being able to go in there and keep your mind focused on getting back in the ring and reinvigorating that hunger, it's not helping him at all. So for all the fans who supporting the fact that he's staying out the ring, being inactive, you guys can feel what you want to feel. But until someone can demonstrate how this is helping him, and the only way this is helping him is if his body's healing from the beating that he took. And I honestly believe that he was far more hurt than he tried to pretend that he was for pride's sake. And at the end of the day, this is a move that's going to hold him back if it's anything other than, because I think that he's broken inside. And I think that pretty much deep down inside, he can say what he wanted to say about he wanted the third fight and trying to make it look that way. But listen, actions speak louder than words. And when you're sitting here talking about the first fight, not even the second one, but the first one, that goes to show you he's not moved on. His words and his actions show you that he's not moved on. So when we're talking about what this guy said and what he did, well, we're talking about two different things, right? Most definitely. So to applaud him and stand next to him, stand up for himself, hey, that's all good if that's how you really truly feel. Okay, but at the same time, it doesn't do anything for him. Doesn't do anything for him. I don't know what it does for you guys personally. Maybe you feel like it's some moral victory or whatever, but at the end of the day, he's only getting older, okay? And the longer you stay out that ring, it's a harder climb to get back in. And that's pretty much what this is all about. This is Deontay Wilder Damage Control. Enough said. Catch y'all on the next video.